Ladies and gentlemen, what is up, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be having a bit of an early look at the leaked abilities that went up yesterday evening on Marvel Contest of Champions Tricos for Green Goblin and Doc Ock, who are supposedly going to be the two new champions coming next month. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that, including kind of a new game icon that we've seen and also the Sinister Six loading screen, which was fished up kind of about a week or so ago. So yeah, there's a really strong evidence to suggest that these are going to be the next two characters entering Marvel Contest of Champions, and they certainly look very interesting. Doc Ock seems like one of the most complicated characters that we have ever had in Marvel Contest of Champions, and Green Goblin looks very confusing at the moment. There isn't too much, there's a lot less information on Green Goblin than there is on Doc Ock, so it's a bit hard to tell exactly how that character is going to work and interact and kind of flow together. But from these early abilities, we got a fairly good idea of, you know, what Doc Ock is going to be able to do, and like roughly how you play the character. And I think Doc Ock has some really strong potential, both in terms of his power control mechanics and also his lifesteal, to potentially be either a god tier or demigod tier champion. But obviously we won't know any of that for certain until we see the full abilities. And Green Goblin looks like he's going to have insane damage output. It looks like he's going to have some decent power control utility, but also with his awakened ability, he might possibly be one of the best defenders in the game, but we're going to have to see exactly how that works. Anyway, to make this a lot bit easier, just because there are so many different slides on this one, because Doc Ock has a lot of different abilities and stances and stuff, and we'll talk about basically how he works. He basically has kind of three main resources, I guess, that he's constantly building up to, and when he reaches the maximum of this resource, which we don't know what the number is yet, he gets a breakthrough. So basically it's three kind of stances he's building up. So he has physics, biology, and chemistry, and they all build in different ways, and they have a building effect and they have a breakthrough effect. So the building effect is while this is going up from, let's assume it's on a 1 to 100 scale, and there is a breakthrough effect. However, the breakthrough effect is different depending on if you've got the champion unawakened or awakened. So this is where the champion starts getting a little bit interesting and a little bit complicated. So the first one is physics, which will build on the opponent gaining power. Now while this is building, the effect of it will reduce the opponent's special attack damage. So, you know, while you're playing the character, it's not really too much to worry about. And then the breakthrough unawakened for this is a power lock debuff for X amount of seconds, but if you have Doc Ock awakened, it is going to be a power drain buff that you get, which will drain 100% of the opponent's power gained and also steal a percentage of that power just to give you even more power there. So it seems like very interesting. That seems like insane power control, especially because it's going to be fueling your power gain. So that allows you to get your special attacks, which might result in 100% uptime on this breakthrough, but again, it depends on the duration of that. So the second one is biology, which builds on a block or parry. So the building effect is you get additional block proficiency. The breakthrough when you don't have him unawakened is the heal block, and if you've got Doc Ock awakened, you gain additional armor and also armor penetration. So biology isn't really a huge one, but chemistry is the one that I find most interesting. So this is the one where it builds when you're landing hits and when being struck. So this one is going to be continually going up and up and up. And the building effect is Fury, so you're going to get hopefully a nice chunk of damage from that. And the breakthrough unawakened is an armor up buff, so not very exciting there, but when this character is awakened, he gains lifesteal and also deals damage equal to 100% of the health that you steal. So yeah, get a really nice attack bonus from chemistry and also lifesteal, especially on kind of like nodes or any chapters that really increase your damage, or via building like a really good team synergy to give you crazy amounts of damage. Like there are good ways to make use of this mechanic that we've seen in champions like Rogue in Act 5 and Dormammu, but to be honest, their lifesteal and the way that their lifesteal mechanics work are very weak. They're a little bit clunky. Like Rogue, you have to spam the special one, And, you know, obviously, that gimps the damage quite a bit when you're playing Rogue, and with Dormammu, it's building up to the special 3, and then getting 100 stacks of the Dark Energy and detonating that, and that's just a little bit annoying, and a little bit clunky, whereas this actually seems like it's going to flow really, really nicely, kind of with the way the character's played. So, just off that stuff alone, like, this is some amazing utility the character has. So yeah, I'm very, very interested to see numbers, and, you know, how quickly it takes to build up to breakthroughs from the various stances. And you can have, as far as I'm aware, multiple breakthroughs active at any one time. So yeah, very, very interesting. So Doc Ock's heavy attack will remove all current breakthroughs and deal additional damage. This doesn't seem too great. It doesn't seem like you're going to want to use the heavy attack unless this is some sort of like insanely ridiculous damage bonus and you don't need any of the other effects. But yeah, we're going to have to see on that one. And then with the special one resets the duration of any active breakthrough. So the special one, it's actually really, really easy to get to for like pretty much every character in the game. So that's really, really good to hear. It looks like you're going to hopefully, especially with like the power steal mechanic, be able to just continually get to that special one and maybe keep 100% uptime on all your breakthroughs. But if no active trigger of breakthrough is currently active, whichever category is currently the highest will immediately go into breakthrough. So that's a pretty cool addition there as well. And the special 2 will trigger the breakthrough effects of all research categories currently at X, and we don't know the value of X, but I imagine it's probably going to be like 50. So yeah, if all your breakthrough, you know, if all your effects are building up and they're about like, I'm going to assume this is about halfway, you can use the special 2 and that will immediately put them all into breakthrough. And if you have any breakthroughs active, it will reset the duration to X seconds per category currently at X. So that's a little bit hard to tell exactly how beneficial that's going to be until we can see the numeric values. But yeah, there seems like a lot of ways to either, you know, extend or refresh the breakthroughs, which do kind of seem the most powerful element of Doc Ock. So that's really, really cool. Then finally on the special 3, it looks like you can actually duplicate X currently active breakthroughs with a duration of a certain amount of seconds. So you could potentially gain, like instead of, you know, having that 100% power drain, so it's countering all the power gained, maybe it's countering 200%, and you are, you know, aggressively draining the opponent's power. Maybe that's a potential solution. And you can also get like additional crazy healing from the lifesteal. I don't know how viable that's going to be to use, but the special 3 does look relatively interesting, you know, especially combined with this mechanic where you can steal the power with the physics breakthrough. I don't know, he has a lot of potential, but obviously I have questions like how long do the breakthroughs last, how long does it take to get to build up a breakthrough. This champion looks crazy for signature stones just because again, all of the awakened breakthroughs, which seem to be really, really making this character, a lot of like the X values are values that increase when you pour more and more signature stones into him by the look of it. So yeah, might be good. And apart from that, numbers, that's what we're waiting for. And lifesteal and power control, just really initially setting this up. He looks like a very, very good champion, but again, we're going to have to see the values, we're going to have to see how this character is played before we can make any judgment on that. But initially, Doc Ock looks very, very promising. I'd say at the moment, he looks like the slightly more hype out of the 2 characters, and that's just because we're lacking information on Green Goblin, on like his special 1, his special 2, his special 3, and his heavy attack. So we've kind of got like abilities, and we know what he does, but not exactly how they trigger and stuff. So Green Goblin, there are various effects when going through kind of Tricos things. You've got like, what is it? So if we go to Green Goblin, there's a lot of stuff like Bag of Tricks and Afterburner and Pumpkin Bombs. So we don't know exactly how all of these are triggered, but I'm assuming most of them are via special attacks. And it's basically kind of like Howard the Duck Special 2, where these bombs and bags of tricks and stuff, they can do various different effects. So the bag of tricks has incinerate, it has poison, it has shock, so a lot of damage there. And then you also have stuff like weakness and power drain, and I think power drain is mainly the key element that's with a lot of stuff here. Also something called Afterburner, which has incinerate, Incinerate. I'm assuming this is probably similar to Vulture's dash back, whereas if you dash back, you get evade, you incinerate the opponent. That sounds, you know, like a fairly plausible scenario. Then we got Pumpkin Bombs as well, which incinerate, poison, power drain, weakness. Then we've also got something labeled as Laser Blast in the abilities, which is a power drain. So I don't know if that's connected to a special and you can kind of a bit more reliably trigger that, but it looks like Bag of Trips and Pumpkin Bombs are associated to special attacks and power thresholds, and just kind of trigger all these crazy and wacky random effects. So in a way, he's a little bit like kind of a mix between Howard the Duck and Scarlet Witch with all these crazy random procs. Not quite as crazy as Scarlet Witch's procs, but they seem pretty decent. He also has two stances called Cunning and Madness. And Cunning is a bit more of an offense one. So basically, he gains charges of Cunning whenever Green Goblin gains a full bar of power, and each Cunning charge increases ability accuracy for Bag of Tricks and Super Bomb. So basically increases the chance that, you know, stuff is going to proc when he throws out those abilities. And if he has more Cunning than Madness, or they're equal, opponents generate less power. So as well as the power drain, your opponents are generating less power, and also Green Goblin gains more attack on his special attacks. So yeah, that's going to make him hit quite a bit harder. And theoretically speaking, you know, when you're playing this champion, you should always land in the offense stance by the look of it. Then finally you have Madness, which is a bit more of a defense one. This is something you're going to have to deal with when you're fighting Green Goblin. So whenever the opponent attacks him or he parries, so you're still going to gain like a few charges when parrying, you have a chance to gain a stack of Madness. So it's not like a guaranteed one like on Cunning. You just have a chance when you parry or take some damage. But each charge increases the potency of Green Goblin's Bag of Tricks and Super Bomb. So that's really, really good stuff there. Increases basically the damage it's going to deal or the effectiveness of like the power drain or weakness by the look of it. And more Cunning than Madness. So this is really when you're fighting Green Goblin and he's taking a lot of damage. It looks like he's going to regenerate a certain percentage of the damage taken, and also cause opponents to deal less damage on special attacks. So that's stuff you need to be aware of when fighting Green Goblin, but really it shouldn't be too much. However, we finally have one more thing when it comes to Green Goblin, which is his Awakened ability. And I'm not really too sure how this works. It's not super clear from reading it, because there are different ways you can interpret this. But it's X percentage chance per bar of power to activate a Super Bomb, which causes all Bag of Tricks effects to trigger instead of the standard Pumpkin Bomb effect. However, the special 3 still has a chance to trigger both the Super Bomb and Pumpkin Bomb effects. So I kind of read that in a similar way to I read Magic's signature ability, whereas whenever he crosses like a bar of power, he could randomly like chuck a lot of bombs at you, but I'm not too sure if kind of that's the way, or if it's like tied to, you know, what special attack you're using. So yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one there, but potentially, you know, if that is kind of like, you know, when you reach a certain threshold, he has a chance to chuck a load of bombs at you. That could make him a really, really good defender, but it could also make him a lot of BS. Like, you know, everybody hates fire magic. We don't want another magic with like a ton of bombs and stuff. At least we don't have to deal with Mystic Dispersion, hopefully. Like, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be Mystic, but I'd say my odds are on both of these characters being Science. But yeah, Green Goblin, both of the characters, in terms of their design, they look very, very interesting. There looks like there is a lot to explore with both of them. But again, it's hard to get a very good idea of exactly how good both of the characters are going to be. But next Thursday, one of the characters is going to be released. So I believe, you know, it's nowhere near confirmed, but I think it's most likely that Doc Ock is going to be released first, but it might be Green Goblin. Either way, the new event is going to be live next Wednesday. We're going to be checking it out, all the characters' abilities, if there's no MCOC mod video in the interim. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I am very much looking forward to that. Anyway, thank you for watching the video today. Hopefully you enjoyed kind of the breakdown of both of the characters. If there's anything I've missed, or any additional thoughts or details that you have on either champion, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Apart from that, thank you to Marvel Contest of Champions Tricos for the leaked abilities. Really do appreciate that. A link to the video will be in the description if you do want to check that out. Massive shout out once again. Apart from that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.